You know, it's been quite some time since I've uploaded on this channel, and one of the reasons for that is because I really just don't care. So I want to take this as an opportunity to talk about one of the games that I've been playing recently. Yep, if you know this title screen, then you know exactly what game we're going to talk about. Known as Star Wars Shitfront 2, or Retard Wars Battlefront 2, or Brutal Front 2. As funny as that sounds, I guess it's kind of my own fault. I mean, I do have 1,131 hours played in this game.
Wow!
Okay, well yeah, maybe the game's not that bad. I mean, it's definitely no 2005 classic. I'm just actually realizing now, though, it could have been much worse. Okay, but seriously, all jokes aside, let's actually get into what grinds me about this game. So quite a while ago, back when the Geonosis update first came out and General Grievous was released for the villains, and Obi-Wan Kenobi was released for the heroes, people started asking about seeing more of the Clone Wars heroes and villains. The two most notable being Mace Windu and Jango Fett. Upon requesting more information or development of these characters, the devs responded with,
"We are unsure of what abilities these characters would have that other heroes or villains don't already possess."
So basically they said,
"Fuck your bald head, bitch!"
And then after the Supremacy update, they went on to create one of the single-handed, most unbelievable out-of-left-field characters ever put in a video game. The Tangerine Beach Ball. I mean, you couldn't think of abilities to give Master of the Force Mace Windu, but you could think of abilities to give a droid that can literally combat Darth Maul? Now you might be thinking, Xbox? Pfft, who gives a fuck about Xbox? And yeah, you're probably right. Now it's not confirmed, but it's probably true that Xbox had the highest player count out of the three platforms. That was of course before Battlefront 2 went on PlayStation Network for free. Now even if that's not true, Xbox still really got the shit end of the stick. I mean, most people consider the Xbox version to be less superior to both the PC and PlayStation versions of the game, and they're right. But why exactly? Because, well, PC has mods, which is standard, and PlayStation has a loading bar, which isn't anything big, but the one thing that sets the Xbox version aside from both those versions is that there's controller lag. Now, there has been reports of controller lag both on the PC and PlayStation 4 versions, but it's apparent that it's far more common on the Xbox port. Matter of fact, it is so common on the Xbox port that you can't even play offline multiplayer arcade without getting controller lag. That is an offline mode that requires no internet, which means your ping and all the ping of the bots is exactly 0. Or well, at least I think. Anyway, let's quickly go over exactly what controller lag is. It can be one of these three things: a button input that is delayed, a button input that just does not work, or a button input that continues to input the command even after you've stopped. The third one being the most common for the Xbox port. Now, all scientific gobbledygook aside, how do you fuck something up so simple like basic controls? And this isn't a server or connectivity problem, because when this happens offline, and it's been happening since day one of the Supremacy update, then there's a problem. Why is it that every time a patch or update comes out and the heroes and villains get updated, it feels like a complete and total test of my patience? Especially how lazy the last update was with the General Grievous Claw Rush, which has been fixed and I'll talk about in a minute, but buffing characters that don't need it and nerfing characters that are already brittle as a toothpick? Doing things like nerfing some characters who used to be counters for others and now can barely fight standard troops. I mean, I definitely would have preferred being able to play a heroes versus villains match, where when I see a character getting used by somebody on the other team, I know that I'm going to have to switch characters to counter that person, instead of just every time a match starts, there's always somebody playing Anakin on the light side and always somebody playing Darth Vader on the dark side. Now, the General Grievous Claw Rush thing was finally fixed, but after the first OT Supremacy update, they just got lazy and put the turn rate sliders for all Rush character abilities to just 100%. This means that the two characters, Rey and General Grievous, could just do semicircles around people because they're the only two characters with continuous hit rush attacks. Now, I'm not sure if Ray's was fixed, but General Grievous's was definitely fixed, so that you could only get hit once every 3 to 4 seconds by the rush attack, because it would knock you down. So if you got hit by it more than once when they were going around in a circle, you would just get knocked down continuously. Now, there are still a flurry of issues between the heroes and villains. Like, for instance, certain heroes and certain villains using abilities that puts them in a position where they're open to attack but can't actually be frozen, and then certain other heroes or villains being open to attack with abilities that are similar to that can be frozen even when they're doing that attack. You know, it's kind of a shame to see that the devs really can't care to fix a lot of that stuff, and if they do, then obviously some max level people are going to be crying because those are the only characters that they play. Also, just a side note, this isn't relevant really to heroes versus villains at all. What kind of is? But there's no in-game squad communication chat for some reason. I don't know why they wouldn't add that, or at least try and implement it for the smaller game modes like 4v4 or 2v2, but it's just something that kind of irks me. Now, when I saw they were doing original trilogy supremacy, even though there is controller lag, I was thinking the same thing everybody else was.
Oh my god, it's Lando.
What's that? What? Did you guys say you've been waiting for the original trilogy supremacy to come out for months? Is that what you said? I couldn't quite hear you. Well, guess what?
Go fuck yourself!
Because what we got, the disappointment that just happened, was even worse than the BB-8 update. It was even worse than the General Grievous patch, if that's what you could call it. And this was the one that was supposed to go out with a bang. This was the one that everybody was looking forward to. They're gonna be like, yeah, man, it's a final patch. It's gonna basically be a celebration of this game coming back and doing great. And it didn't even come close. And let me tell you why it didn't come close at all. Let me show you a few things. Okay, so here's the list. There are no new maps, and you cannot tell me that Death Star and Scarif are new maps, because Death Star was already a Battlefront 2 map, and Scarif was a Battlefront 1 map. They reuse Clone Wars heroes both on dark and light side. No fix for controller lag. Still, no second phase for original trilogy supremacy. When the game hits 100, it just fades to black and ends. There are only 2 units added, one of which, the Ewok Hunter, whatever that thing is called, already has its character model, so they basically didn't have to do any work for that. They just had to add a few details and clothing onto it and give it a weapon. And then the other unit, which, yeah, is interesting, the IBS soldier, or irritable bowel syndrome soldier, whatever it is. And then the kick in the ass that they added to this mode, that they could not have gotten away with if they were in court, was that they added starfighters to the mode. The one reason, one of the top reasons why people play that mode is to not deal with starfighters, and starfighters get added to original trilogy supremacy. What the fuck? And you also might, say that, oh, well, they added the Emperor Palpatine and Kylo Ren skin. Well, that still doesn't constitute or justify that they just completely lazied out on it and didn't do half the work they should have. On top of that, the one Kylo Ren skin looks almost identical to the other ones. Matter of fact, it basically is identical, because the only difference between Reforged and Supreme Leader is Reforged has the hood from the cape up instead of the one that doesn't. Which, ooh, months of work on original trilogy and the update for that, along with the extra content, and that's what we got? Sick, dude. But even with all that said, I still think this is one of the best Star Wars experiences out there that you can buy right now. Okay, well, second best. If you're only looking to play as a Jedi, then yeah, I guess it's a second best. Also, I don't know what the fuck that is. Oh, that's already out? I have EA Access, and I didn't even know that was out. I don't think any of my friends, not a single one of my 45 friends, I don't think owns that game. Matter of fact, I haven't even seen anybody with that on their games list. What is that game even? Oh, it's just basically Hero Starfighters, like a single mode game from Battlefront 2. Oh no, they're trying to do some like weird Rainbow Six thing where it's like 5-on-5. Ah well, let them waste their money, I guess. Just such a shame that they pulled the respirator off this game, man, because it had so much extra potential that could have been added. Well, I think that about wraps this up.